If you're like me, you can remember phone numbers of your childhood friends back before the days of smartphones, but you may not remember the numbers of people you contact regularly now. Why is that? You may also notice that memories begin to blur over time, or you begin to confuse them with other memories that have similar details. Or maybe you forget something recent where you just left your car keys or your phone, even though you just had them a minute ago. You may blame this on forgetfulness or other things, but the truth is that our brains forget on purpose. And forgetting is an active and intentional process that is very important to learning and memory. To learn about forgetting, we first need to understand a few basics about memory, as forgetting is really just the loss of information from memory. In very simplified terms, a memory is created when we take in information through our senses. The memory is encoded and enters our short-term memory. We may give it a varying amount of attention depending on how important we think it is to remember later. The memory may then be consolidated or stored in our long-term memory to be later retrieved. Forgetting happens when there are disruptions in this process of encoding, storing, and retrieving memories. There are also chemical reactions that happen within our brain that are linked to forgetting. Dopamine is one chemical in the brain that can help us remember, but it's also required for forgetting. The Musashi protein also regulates forgetting. This protein works by disrupting the connection between synapses in our brain. An experiment where this protein was removed from ringworms found that they were not able to forget. Although this sounds like it could be a great thing, forgetting is a very important part of making new memories and is a healthy part of brain function. Here are some reasons why we forget. Selective memory. Sometimes we do not anticipate that we will need information later, so we don't put effort towards encoding or storing this memory in the first place. I once left a bag in a cab in a new city between the airport and the hotel. Once I realized this error, I was unable to remember details about the cab company, the driver, or even the color of the car. I just hadn't realized how important these details would become later. We can see the reverse effect of selective memory in classrooms, where a teacher casually mentions, "Well, this could be on the exam." Students will then put extra effort and intention into remembering what comes next. Another reason we forget is the failure to retrieve a memory. Retrieval failure is one of the most common causes of forgetting. With retrieval failure, the memory exists, but it's difficult to retrieve without certain cues. An example of this is forgetting someone's name until you realize the first letter, and that cues you into remembering. Interference is when memories are stored, but they start to become confused with new and similar memories. Have you ever tried to remember an experience, but perhaps mixed up the location or become confused about who was there with you? Chances are that this interference caused you to forget. When students learn concepts that are closely related, for example, historical events which have several common details, it can be difficult to remember which event is which. Another reason we forget is through the decay or fading of memories. Decay theory states that if a memory is not accessed or retrieved, it will begin to fade and eventually disappear. This theory has a definite impact on learning and education, as it demonstrates the importance of reviewing concepts regularly to stop from forgetting them. The Ebbinghaus forgetting curve can help us understand memory decay and how regular review can prolong this effect and increase our chances of retrieval. The curve shows that each time a concept is reviewed, the forgetting curve becomes less steep and what we learn stays in our memory longer. Regardless of the way we forget, we know that this is a very important process. Our brains and nervous system process a mass amount of data every day, and consolidating, encoding, and retrieving the most relevant details is critical to the process of lifelong learning. Neuroplasticity is important to regular and healthy brain function. So next time you forget something, don't be too hard on yourself. Although forgetting can be a frustrating experience that can cause us to do poorly on exams or become embarrassed when we lose our car in a full parking lot, forgetting is a necessary function. It allows us to forget some of the more painful moments in our lives. It also allows us to more fully experience the world, taking in life's moments and really feeling them. As learners, we can practice these processes of memory and forgetting through giving proper attention to what we want to learn and retain, and regularly reviewing what is important while forgetting what we no longer need.